Hey everyone, glad to be back on here today. Just got in. I want to thank everybody for all the messages that I got, all the news updates. There was a lot of stuff happened last night. I thought about getting back on last night, but I didn't. I had to get in bed before I knew I was going to do a double today. So hopefully I'll get off this schedule soon and we'll be able to do more videos. I'm going to try to pop some more out. I'll definitely try to get one more out this evening. If you're not part of the channel, subscribe, share, like this video. We're glad to have you part of the team here and part of the family. We appreciate having everyone out here. Last night I got a lot of strange updates, not from you guys, but there was a lot of stuff coming in from people I knew about a strange dust that was falling over West Virginia last night. Now, I have spent what I could today trying to figure out, and nobody seems to know what it is and where it came from. Some people said it came from New Mexico, which is totally could never, there's just no way it could have happened because it would have fell over other states before it fell over us. But it fell over us, Maryland, Virginia. Strange dust. A lot of people say it was pollen. It's not pollen. We deal with pollen here. It was not pollen. It was definitely a white ash. So it had to come somewhere close to that area for it to fall there in those three places. And nobody seems to know. It's just very strange. And I'm telling you right now, you got to keep your eyes open. There's a lot of strange stuff going on. I mean, now the Lord told us not to fear, and He told us these strange events would start to magnify every week. So we've got to keep our heads, on a swivel right now because there's a lot of things happening that I just don't think that they're telling us anything of what's going on. So I'm going to have to depend on God to let us know the information. Like all these plants that are burning right now as we speak, trains being derailed. I do believe war has already begun, and it's happening right here on our soil, and we don't even realize it's happening. You got to think, a lot of people come across the border, a lot of people, and we don't know who half of them are. And I've always said, even working for the railroad back in my early days, that you can't protect all the railroad tracks in America. There's just no way. And I think a lot of this stuff, what you're seeing, is being done by other countries. I do believe that's what's happening. Do I think it's us? No, I do not. I think we are ignoring it. And just because they don't know what they're doing. I think that's what's happening. So definitely keep your head on a swivel. There's a lot of stuff going on. I was going to touch on the revival stuff. A lot of channels coming out and bashing the revivals and stuff. But God told me not to touch it. He's going to deal with them personally. So that's enough with that. God already put out a warning about those who do not know what they're talking about getting in His business. So He says He will deal with them personally, those channels. So I've left that into Him. So much other stuff going on. But that's going on in Europe, just so much at one time. I can't even keep an eye on it. I know we sent a drone of ours over Ukraine space yesterday, which was very odd. I haven't seen that, not since this stuff started out, with all the air defenses they got there from the other side. So they're definitely pushing the envelope. And I believe that they will keep pushing the envelope until, what I saw come to pass. And that's not very long. It was on a spring or summer day when I saw everything crashing from the air to the ground. So we're not far from it. Not far from it. There's just a lot of stuff. And then I've thought about that one thing that the Lord was telling me about weeks ago, that a dormant volcano would erupt. One that is not supposed to erupt. And I didn't know which one it was, and I didn't want to speculate on which one it was. But now we're getting threats that they want to send one of these Sarmat missiles into one of these locations, which would be Yellowstone. Would that make it go? I don't know. But I know that the Lord said that this would be an event that will take place. So that could be what sets it off. And if that does, we know that America ends, and it's not in Revelation. We know that it just, all of a sudden, it's just gone. And I have tried my best to figure out in my mind how in the world this country just disappears overnight. But that would definitely do it. That would definitely do it. Without anything else. That would finish it off. The population would be completely... there wouldn't be nothing left of it. So that might be the event right before we're out of here, or right after we're out of here. Because I don't see that event in the events that I saw. I know that the West Coast event happens, and then after that event, we're out of here, and then the New York event happens. So that event has to be possibly after that event. So, and that makes sense because I know the New York event is a man event. It's not an earth event. That's part of World War III, and we're out of here before that happens. So, as I said, don't fear. You just know the events before they happen so you can get as many people saved. There's going to be a lot of other events happen in between that time, like God said. There's going to be so many events that you wouldn't be able to, wrap your head around. Well, that's already happening. Every week there's so many things burning down, so many of this, so many of that. It just never stops. The news cycle, even people that are not Christian are like, what is going on? See, even they know it. And that's what God warned us about weeks ago, that this was going to start to happen. He said people will start to be fearful and scared. Well, that's already happening. That's why God told us before it happened, so we can be aware of it. Just watch the information that you're getting your information from right now, because there's a lot of these so-called Christian channels out there that are just absolutely hogwash. That's what they are. They don't know God as much as they know that, if the tooth fairy come, they'd think it was God. These people don't know nothing of what they're talking about. They don't know the Bible. They just make stuff up as they go. I watch them just to see what they'll say. And a lot of their stuff, they just make it up on the fly. It's not Bible. It's not biblical. It has to be, they do it to get the clicks. That's the only way. But, like I tell everybody that sends me messages, and Nick, I want to send out, Nick had a special prayer request. There was a lot of people. Keep everybody in your prayers. So much stuff going on. It's hard to, if you don't write it down, you're just not going to remember it. But there's just so much going on right now. The world is just falling apart. And if you don't see that, and God already warned us that the world was going to fall apart. Now, even the people that are so asleep that they can't see past their own feet will start to wake up in the next 4 to 5 days, I do believe. They're going to start to wake up. Even the ones that are hard asleep. Because God's going to wake these people up. And if they don't, there's really nothing you can do for them, because we know some of them will deny God all the way up until the end, and even after the end, they'll deny Him because they won't give up their sin. They just won't give it up. And it's a shame, but mankind is an evil, evil race of beings. It just is. All thing we care about is ourselves. We don't care about others. It's just horrifying to think of how evil mankind is. Just pure evil. And to think that Jesus still loves us after all that we are, because all we do is we want to war, fight, and kill, and that's just a shame. But that's what we are. And that's why only through Jesus will you be able to get into heaven. Only through Him. So stay on the boat. Don't get off the boat. Very important. Especially right now with everything going on. You want to definitely keep yourself and your eyes upon heaven and be a light to others. Because these are dark times, people. They are dark, dark times. And people's going to need you. And I know that's why God brought you here. And I know that's what you're out there doing. And we appreciate every one of you. A lot of you starting up your own channels. Very proud of you. Thank you for that. Spreading the word like you can and that you do. I want to thank Troy Schmidt, also Bonnie Reed, Cindy, Cheryl G. And there was 2 other unknowns that bought me coffees on there. And that money will go to the Jews, and that will bring them home and also make sure that they are fed once they get home to Israel. Also gets their medical supplies and stuff like that. And I appreciate every one of you all. for doing that. I don't ask anybody to do it, but we do have a link if you want to do it straight from yourself. It's underneath the description box. It's right there. You can't miss it. There's a link. You go on there. I've been working for them for probably 10 years. And a very good organization. They also take your prayer request to the Wailing Wall if you ask them to. And I mean, amazing bunch of group of people. And that's why I use them, and I always have. They've always sent me the names and everything when I've brought the Jews out of Russia and different places back home, so I know who they are. So I know they're legit. I've been using them for many, many years. And that's the only one I use. It's because I know them. And I know what good people. I know when Mom was sick, they would call here constantly and pray for her. I mean, good people, very good people. I want to thank every one of you out there with all the new subscribers. We've got a ton of them. And what we do here is we tell you to read the Bible 2 hours a day. You can read it an hour, 2 hours. Just get to know Jesus in these last days because time is short. But here we don't add to the Bible. We don't try to get clicks, stuff like that. Right? All the thing we do is just try to get people awake and let them know that Jesus is coming so they can get them and their families ready because they don't want to be left behind. They're not going to be like these other channels say, it's okay to be left behind, you're going to do fine, because that is a lie. Yeah, there is going to be people left behind, but you do not want to be them. And what they don't tell you on those channels is that for 5 months, a stinging scorpion the size of a horse will sting you for 5 months, nonstop, 24 hours a day, and you can't die. See, that's what they don't tell you because they don't know the Bible. So no, it's not a preferred vacation that they portray on their channels, which is they're just hogwash is what they are. People don't lie to me because I tell you the truth, and the truth hurts. But there is a heaven and there's a hell. You might not like that. I don't care if you don't believe it. I don't care if you serve another God because your God's not real, because there's only one God, and He is the Lord Jesus Christ. And I don't I don't, basically try to, wash it down, but it don't matter what you believe. There's still a heaven and a hell, and you're going to go to one, and the choice is yours. A lot of people, they try to not offend everybody, but let me tell you something. You should be offended. You better get over the offended, because these are the last days. And if you don't believe it, you'll soon find out within 4 or 5 days that we're truly in the last days, because things are going to start to really ramp up even more than what they are now. Jesus ain't playing around, people. He's not playing. He's warned us, and he's warned us, and we still ignore him. People still go about their business like he's not there, and he's really getting tired of it. And you're about to start to see the gloves come off, so to speak. So don't fear. We're fine. We're protected. But this world is about to get a wake-up call. It's about to realize there is truly one God. Our God is the only God that come back from the dead. He's still alive. These other gods, they're dead. Or if the so-called gods. But our God is the one that's alive. He's the one who created the universe, the earth, and the earth is barely, what's going on, 6,000 years old. It's not 1 billion years old. It's not 1 million years old. If you believe that crap, it's just nothing but lies to convince you that there is no God. That has been science and government's job for many, many eons, is to convince you there is no God, that they are the gods. Because see, man wants to be God, just like God told us they would. They want to be God, and they're not. They know they're not, and they know that the real God is coming. They're just trying to buy their time and build their little bunkers that's going to protect them and keep them safe. And the Lord told us that they will hide in their little bunkers and they will pray that the walls fall in on them because they know He's come. Do not be one of these people. It don't matter how many supplies you have. It don't matter what kind of bunkers, how much money you have. You're never going to escape judgment. Nobody will. I won't, you won't, nobody won't. You can put your hands over your ears and go, no, 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 no. It's still going to happen. Attention, Kmart shoppers. This is the end of the world. Wake up. Choose a side. Because your time is running out. Be ready. If you don't see or hear from me again, I'll see you in heaven.